Have you ever wondered what gave biblical people the strength to live without any of the modern diseases, chronic infection, sleep problems, digestive issues, chronic stress? It wasn't genetics. It wasn't luck. It was daily habits. 7 specific herbal teas that strengthened immunity, calmed the mind, and detoxified the body. Teas so effective that modern herbalists are now studying their chemical compounds. Most people think of tea as just a beverage. Biblical people thought of it as medicine, and modern pharmacognosy, the science that studies the medicinal properties of plants, is now beginning to understand why they were right. Today I'm walking you through 7 sacred herbal teas, each one mentioned in the Bible or grown in biblical lands, consumed for thousands of years, and now scientifically validated for their ability to strengthen the immune system, reduce inflammation, and heal the body. This list isn't just interesting, it's life-saving. Stay until the end because number 1 is one of the most valuable medicinal plants of the ancient world and one of the most powerful antioxidant sources that modern cancer researchers are now studying. 7 teas, thousands of years of wisdom. Let's get into it. Number 7. Thyme tea. Thyme is known in modern kitchens as a spice, but in the ancient world, especially in biblical lands, thyme was much more: a medicinal plant, temple incense, and a tea that fought disease. In biblical times, thyme grew throughout Israel and all surrounding regions. In Psalm 51:7, David says, "Purge me with hyssop." Hyssop in Hebrew is a general term used for aromatic plants like thyme and marjoram. This wasn't metaphor, this was observation. The ancient world knew these plants truly purified. Physically, thyme tea's power comes from thymol and carvacrol, potent volatile oils that have antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. Modern research has shown that thyme tea fights respiratory infections, reduces coughing, breaks up phlegm, and clears the lungs. Some studies have even found that thyme is effective against antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Thyme is also a powerful antioxidant, prevents cellular damage, and slows aging. Traditionally, thyme tea was made by steeping in hot water, using fresh or dried leaves. It has a mild floral, slightly sharp taste. The ancient world used thyme for colds, coughs, and chest infections. And 3,000 years later, modern medicine is still validating the same results. Thyme worked quietly, but people who drank it every day got sick less often, and that was enough. Thyme cleared the lungs. But what happened when the digestive system got sick? When there was stomach pain, bloating, or nausea, the ancient world turned to another plant, and this plant is still everywhere in the modern world. Number 6. Mint tea. Mint is one of the world's oldest medicinal plants, and it grew everywhere in biblical lands. In Matthew 23:23, Jesus criticizes the Pharisees and mentions mint, dill, and cumin. These weren't spices, they were valuable medicinal plants paid as tithe. Why was it so valuable? Because mint was doing something extraordinary for the digestive system, and the ancient world observed this every day. Mint tea's power comes from menthol, a natural compound that relaxes stomach muscles and facilitates digestion. Clinical studies have shown that mint tea reduces symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, reduces bloating, prevents gas formation, and relieves abdominal pain. Mint also stops nausea from pregnancy, nausea to motion sickness, and it stimulates bile flow, makes fat digestion easier. Traditionally, mint tea was drunk after every meal. Fresh leaves would be steeped in hot water, leaving a mildly sweet and refreshing taste. In the ancient Middle East, mint tea wasn't just a beverage, it was a symbol of hospitality, the first thing offered to guests. And with every sip, the digestive system calmed down. The modern world uses mint in gum and toothpaste, but its real power lies in tea. Simple, fresh, effective. Mint calmed your stomach. But what happened when infection entered the body? When the immune system weakened, the ancient world turned to the next plant, and this plant was the antibiotic of thousands of years before modern antibiotics were invented. Number 5. Rosemary tea. Rosemary grew everywhere in biblical lands, on mountain slopes, in gardens, along roadsides, hardy, aromatic, and powerful. In the Bible, Rosemary isn't mentioned by name, but when sweet-smelling plant or fragrant branch is mentioned, rosemary is likely one of the plants being referred to. The ancient world used rosemary as a symbol of remembrance, at funerals, at weddings, in religious rituals. It was known as the herb of remembrance, and this wasn't coincidence. Rosemary actually strengthens memory. Rosemary tea's power comes from rosmarinic acid and carnosic acid, powerful antioxidants that protect the brain and improve cognitive function. Modern research has shown that rosemary tea increases memory and concentration. There's even evidence that it may help slow Alzheimer's disease. But rosemary isn't just for the brain, it's also extraordinary for immunity. Rosemary has powerful antibacterial and antiviral properties. It fights infections, reduces inflammation, and protects the body. Traditionally, rosemary tea was made by steeping fresh or dried branches. It has a pine-like, slightly bitter taste. The ancient world used rosemary for colds, flu, and mental fatigue. The modern world thinks of it as a spice, but as a tea, rosemary is a mind and immune protector. Rosemary protected the mind and immunity, but now we're getting to something interesting, because the next plant appears again and again in the Bible, and modern science is still trying to figure out why it's so powerful. Number 4. Hyssop tea. Hyssop is mentioned more than 12 times in the Bible, and every time it's connected with purification, cleansing, and healing. In Psalm 51:7, David says, "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean." Hyssop is the plant. In Exodus 12:22, the Israelites apply the blood of the Passover lamb to the doorposts with hyssop branches. This wasn't coincidence. Hyssop was a sacred plant, but it was also a medicinal plant. Hyssop tea's power comes from its volatile oils, especially penocamphon and isopenocamphon, which have powerful antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. Modern research has shown that hyssop tea fights respiratory infections, effective for bronchitis, asthma, and coughing. It breaks up phlegm, clears the lungs, and makes breathing easier. Hyssop also supports the digestive system, reduces gas, bloating, and stomach cramps. But its most interesting property is this: hyssop detoxifies the body. It binds heavy metals and toxins and helps eliminate them from the body. Traditionally, hyssop tea was made by steeping dried leaves and flowers. It has a slightly bitter, pine-like taste. The ancient world used hyssop for physical and spiritual cleansing. The modern world has almost forgotten it, but its power remains the same. Horehound purified the body. But what happened when night came? When sleep wouldn't come, when the mind wouldn't calm down, the ancient world used the next plant, and this plant came thousands of years before modern sleep medications. Number 3. Chamomile tea. Chamomile is one of the world's oldest medicinal plants. In Egypt, Greece, Rome, Israel, it grows everywhere and is used everywhere. In the Bible, chamomile isn't mentioned by name, but when wildflowers or field flowers are mentioned, chamomile is likely one of the plants being referred to. In ancient Egypt, chamomile was dedicated to the sun god. Greek physicians used it for fever, inflammation, and nervous disorders. Why? Because chamomile does two things in the body. It calms and it heals. Chamomile tea's power comes from apigenin, a flavonoid that binds to specific receptors in the brain and creates a calming effect. Clinical studies have shown that chamomile tea reduces anxiety, improves sleep quality, and fights insomnia. It can even relieve mild depression symptoms. Chamomile is also a powerful anti-inflammatory. It heals stomach ulcers, reduces digestive problems, and soothes the skin. Traditionally, chamomile tea was made by steeping dried flowers. It has a mild apple-like taste, sweet and gentle. The ancient world drank chamomile every night, every stressful moment, every time after illness. The modern world sells it packaged in supermarkets, but its power remains the same: simple, gentle, effective. Chamomile calmed the mind, but now we've arrived at number 2, and this plant isn't just mentioned once in the Bible, it's mentioned hundreds of times. Burned in temples, offered to kings, and used for healing properties that modern science is still trying to explain. Number 2. Frankincense tea. And here we've arrived at number 2. Frankincense. Most people know frankincense as incense, as when the 3 wise men brought gold, myrrh, and frankincense as gifts to Jesus. The sacred resin burned in temples, but the ancient world didn't just burn frankincense, they drank it too. Frankincense resin obtained from the boswellia tree was steeped in hot water to create a powerful medicinal tea. Why? Because frankincense was doing something in the body that modern drugs couldn't. Frankincense tea's power comes from boswellic acid, a compound that stops chronic inflammation, including arthritis, asthma, bowel diseases, and even cancer. Modern research has shown that frankincense tea is as effective as ibuprofen in inflammatory diseases, but without side effects. It reduces joint pain, relieves swelling, and improves mobility. Frankincense also strengthens the immune system, fights infections, and protects the body. Some studies have even shown that frankincense can slow the growth of cancer cells, especially breast, prostate, and colon cancer. Traditionally, frankincense resin would be broken into small pieces and steeped in hot water. It has a mild pine-like bitter taste. The ancient world drank frankincense for inflammation, pain, and infection. The modern world burns it as incense. But as tea, frankincense is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory plants. And now we've arrived. Number 1. This is one of the most valuable medicinal plants of the ancient world, the resin used by priests in temples, and one of the most powerful antioxidant sources that modern cancer researchers are now studying. Number 1. Myrrh tea. And here we've arrived. Number 1. Myrrh. Myrrh resin, obtained from commiphora trees, was one of the most valuable medicinal substances of the ancient world. It was as valuable as gold. It was offered to kings. It was burned in temples. When the 3 wise men brought gifts to Jesus, myrrh was one of them. But it was also consumed. Myrrh tea's power comes from terpenoids, especially furanodiene, which have powerful antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and anti-cancer properties. Modern research has shown that myrrh tea kills cancer cells, especially skin, prostate, and lung cancer. It triggers apoptosis, cancer cells' self-destruction. Myrrh is also a powerful antibacterial and antifungal. It fights infections, heals wounds, and strengthens immunity. Myrrh tea also supports the digestive system, heals ulcers, reduces intestinal inflammation, and balances the microbiome. Traditionally, myrrh resin would be broken into small pieces and steeped in hot water. It's very bitter, almost unbearable, but its power is extraordinary. The ancient world used myrrh to heal wounds, fight infections, and stop pain. The modern world uses it in toothpaste and mouthwash, but as tea, myrrh is one of the most powerful healing plants. The plant valued for thousands of years, and the power that modern science is still trying to explain. 7 teas, all of them pointing back to the same truth. Biblical people weren't primitive. They were paying extraordinary attention to their bodies, to their land, and to what worked across generations. Immunity, mental clarity, and body detox weren't inexpensive supplements or medications. They lay in simple daily herbal teas. The modern world forgot these plants, and the result? A chronic disease crisis. Stress, insomnia, infection, inflammation, all exploded. But the solution was always there. Simple herbal teas, the way God designed them. If you were going to pick one tea from this list and make it this week, which one would it be? Drop it in the comments below. I genuinely want to know which one you're starting with. If you got something out of this video, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss what we put out next. And if you're still curious, stick around. The journey's just getting started.